So back when I was 17, I had my learners and my girlfriend at the time asked me to go pick her something up from the store. It was later at night around 10 p.m, and I headed out. I hadn't been to this place often, to my bearings were off as to whether it was on the left or the right side of the road. Now the road is 2-lane both directions. I was on the inside, left, lane. I was looking for the store when I noticed it at the last second. I swerved my car over at the last minute to get into the right lane and make a turn into the store, when suddenly the front end of my car slammed into a darker colored car in the right lane. I never noticed them. I wasn't paying attention. I put on my 4-ways and pulled behind him. Just then he entered into a parking lot, probably to exchange information, I'll never know. Now the parking lot is set up so the entrance and exit are not the same, so you'd have to drive around the lot in order to exit. As soon as he pulled into the lot, a voice in my head just said go. I slammed on the gas while he was still pulling in and floored it down the street. I got to a residential area and went even further into it before shutting off my car and the lights and sat there in silence. I thought to myself, what have I done? I had just turned a fender bender into a hit and run and I just fled the scene. I tried to figure out what to do. Do I go back? Or do I leave? Being an idiotic 17-year-old, I fled completely. I knew I was screwed if I went back, and I'd probably lose my license, and if I didn't, insurance would be so high I may as well have lost it. I went home and switched the story around and told my parents how I was the one who was hit and the other driver did a hit and run and fled the scene. My girlfriend's dad had a friend who was a mechanic. He buffed off the other paint and fixed my bumper with zip ties. He offered to get me the parts cheap, but I was paranoid that they'd be able to trace the parts back to me, so I declined. I never filed an accident report, but told my parent I did. Shortly after this I got rid of the car and bought another used car from my mom's friend. I wanted it to never be traced back to me. I took it to the junkyard myself to make sure it would be destroyed. No one ever found out what I did. I've never said anything to anyone. This happened 15 years ago, and I still feel immense guilt from it. I can imagine how much of a pain insurance must have been for that person, but I was a terrified novice driver. Whoever's car I hit in October 2007, sorry I fled the scene. I hope it wasn't too much of a headache for you to deal with everything.